If you're hoping for another greeting message in another language, this week you're going to be disappointed. Because I don't know a word of Japanese. And yes, you've guessed it, this week's film is from Japan. Battle Royale. The book that inspired the film that supposedly inspired the Hunger Games. And my god, what a film Battle Royale is. It is pretty much the Hunger Games, except it's much more violent, far more swear words, and it's just so more realistic and brutal. What happens in the film is that, in an alternate world, the Japanese government has collapsed. Adults are losing control of the children, and the children losing their respect of the adults. As such, the government passed a new act, and this act has been put into effect for some time. What happens is, a group of school children, a class of about 40, are gassed and taken to an abandoned island where collars are attached around the neck, and they learn that they have been chosen for the programme, or as their teacher who's there to watch over them calls it, Battle Royale! What the whole thing is about is that the kids have 3 days to kill each other off until there's only one left. That one winner may return to society. If the 3 days surpass and no one dies, well, or not everyone dies, then the survivors will all be killed by the collars around their necks, which have explosives in them. So effectively, if no one dies, no one wins. And soon becomes a brutal battle as the children face off against each other to become the last survivor. Some decide not to take advantage and kill themselves. Some decide to battle it out, and others form groups and packs before slowly turning on each other. But the main focus of the film is on one character who recently lost his father to suicide, and together with his best female friend, and the aid of a former student who has returned for one last bite of the cherry, the battle is on. Not only to defeat everyone else, but also to defeat their teacher and the soldiers behind the programme. As I say, Hunger Games and Battle Royale are very similar in that they feature children fighting to the death to find one winner, with the main difference being that Battle Royale is far more brutal and more realistic. I mean, just think about it. Some of these children here aren't prepared for battle. They're just taken completely out of the blue without even realising. The difference from the Hunger Games is that they're chosen through the reaping, and that some have been trained for the competition for years. With Battle Royale, it just comes completely out of the blue for the children. Well, teenagers. And also another difference is that, unlike the Hunger Games, which is all where the games are broadcast to the capital, the programme is kept entirely secret in Japan. It's on an abandoned lighthouse. The only other people there are the class's teacher and some soldiers. The general Japanese public have absolutely no idea what is happening. And that I find really effective. I really find it effective. It's always better to have something happen in private rather than completely out in the open. That's just my view. And another main difference is that the characters in this are actually likeable. I mean, no disrespect to Katniss and all that, but the characters in Battle Royale are far more realistic, and the villains are far less cliched, with more focus on personality and development. I mean, one of the main antagonists of the film follows a student who was in the programme a few years ago and won, but he's got too depressed with his life. He wants to go back into the programme for one last stick at the cherry and possibly go out in a blaze of glory. Think about it. He's willingly putting himself up to be possibly killed again. And another thing I like about this film, as I say, the violence and action is far more realistic. You've got all kinds of weapons. You've got machine guns, grenades, machetes, the explosives in the collars. I mean, it's just so much more realistic than Battle not well, yeah, Battle Royale is far more realistic than Hunger Games in terms of violence and all that, but as I say, I mean, it's just far more realistic. I mean, you see blood everywhere, you see guts, you see the insides of a body, whereas in the Hunger Games, it was just like, a few stabs here and there, and then that's it, the body's never seen again. That's pretty much how I foresee it. And so, as you guessed, Battle Royale is a very strong film. You obviously need to be 18 to see it, but as I say, if you're over 18 and you have a strong heart, it is worth a see. But if you're of the faint heart, I'd avoid this film. People are saying I'm faint of the heart, and I watched it and enjoyed it. I didn't feel sick once. But as I say, if you want more realistic action and brutality and less of a love story, Battle Royale is worth the watch, and in all terms is superior to the Hunger Games.